What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. A little bit calmer than yesterday, people. No Arsenal therapy today. This is just a regular, you know what I'm saying, a regular show. Thierry Henry on the background, you know, the Arsenal GOAT. But I know a few people have been annoyed with him this week for speaking the truth, actually, about Arteta. But anyway, Benjamin Tesco, a.k.a. Sesko, every little helps, people. Let's hope he can help Arsenal's dream of winning trophies that we need to turn into a reality. But big up to everyone. I know my times are a little bit crazy this week. It's the half term, so it's a bit all over the place. Obviously, we'll be doing a watch along for the Champions League final tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff. So make sure you tune in for that. And we got a lot to talk about today. We'll go over some things that we spoke about last night. If you didn't watch Arsenal Therapy, go back and watch that. We said a lot, people, and a lot needed saying. So, yeah, if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it after this. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. We've been getting great numbers on the streams post-season. Club card settings, man. You know when you get to the till and it's like £30 and you use the club card, you get it down to like £23. Arsenal love a bargain, people. Every little helps. Big up Daniel, who said it's his birthday today. Daniel Mitchell, blessings on your birthday, bro. Benjamin Walmart. Well, you know, don't Kroenke's wife own Walmart or something. So yeah, like the consistency, we gotta be consistent. Every little helps. Exactly. Listen, big up to everyone locked in. Before we start with the Arsenal conversation, I want to just say, isn't it crazy when you do your job properly, how you can make money as a football club, even when it appears there's no money to be made? And what I mean by this, I've said for a long time on this channel that the sporting director of a football club is almost as big as the manager of the football club in terms of importance. And I know I yap on a lot about this guy, Michael Edwards at Liverpool, but today Trent has joined Real Madrid officially, done deal. This guy's contract runs out on the 30th of June. He's got 1 month left on his deal. The season's over. He will not play another game for Liverpool. They have got 10 million euros from Real Madrid to get this guy early for the Club World Cup. The initial offer was 850,000 euros. They've turned it into 10 million for a guy that isn't even going to play another game of football for Liverpool just so they can get him for the Club World Cup. They've sold a guy with a month left on his deal for 10 million euros. We're out here selling actual... We sold Guendouzi for like 9 million when he was in the French squad. It's crazy. This guy could sell rice to a chef. I don't get it. The guy's a joke. The guy's an absolute joke. I don't know how he does it. We'll be lucky to get 10 million for Reece Nelson. These man here, we're selling established players. We can't get 10 million. This guy got 10 million for a guy with 30 days left on his deal. It's absolutely crazy. So Liverpool did get money for Trent in the end. So maybe they can calm down. We got money for him. It wasn't a free 10 million euros. Anyway, Michael Edwards, man, that guy's crazy. But hey, good business. Good business. We gave away Aubameyang, Ozil, Ramsey, Alexis, all these guys. Just take them. Have them for free. We're like a charity shop just doing handouts. It's crazy. Like Frank Lucas at Christmas handing out turkeys from the back of the lorry, people. I don't get it. But anyway, it is what it is. Pure profit, people. Pure profit. Came through the youth team, you know. It is what it is. Kieran Tierney on a free as well. You're right. Did you see Speed with all legends? Was he? I didn't even see that, you know. I saw that he was live, but I didn't get to watch any of it. I know he's at the Champions League, isn't he? So I'm assuming he's linking up with a lot of ballers over there. Big up everyone locked in. Apologies, I actually listed this and left it on private. And when I went to check, I thought, how come no one's waiting for the show? It was on private. I changed it with half an hour to go. So Mustafa said, Cesco is good according to Steve and Grizz. Big them up. Obviously, I put a comment on Big Six last night and they had a bit of conversation about it. sometimes for me, and again, I want to reiterate, because we're going to get into the Sesko Gyokeres conversation. I want to reiterate, I did nearly 2 hours on Arsenal therapy last night. As I said, if you didn't watch the show, go back and watch it after this show. Not once during that whole show did I criticize Sesko in terms of him being a talented footballer. I think a lot of the time, the ops speak positively about players because they know they're not a big threat. I think Pep used to do it about Arteta, and I think these fans do it about the players that we're signing at times. Because if a lot of people are in the media saying Cesco's good, then they think, yeah, he is good because they're saying it and they're saying it and they're saying it. Do any of them want Cesco at their club? Have you ever heard any of them say, yo, want Cesco at my club? No, they don't. They're not disappointed about Cesco going to Arsenal. One of them's got Haaland and Mamouche, and the other one's going to sell Darwin Núñez and probably sign somebody. So big up to them, but I don't buy it personally. I think they're happy with Arsenal signing a player like that because it's another development situation. That's my opinion on it anyway. Did you see Ben Jacobs' comment on Arteta versus Berta on the Football Terrace? Mutants won't be happy. No, I haven't seen it. What did he say? What phase is the Chelsea coach in, says Go Steel? First season, top 4 in Champions League. Watch out for next season. Any player linked to Arsenal is who they won't buy. Linked with everybody, sign nobody. If it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. That's what we've always said on this channel. And Liverpool, by the way, have offered 130 million euros for Florian Wirtz. 100 million up front and 30 million in add-ons is crazy business. South African Scouser says Sesko is the Slovenian Darwin Núñez. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into the main course. This is what we heard last night. Fabrizio finally dropped the Arsenal bomber. It wasn't the bomber we wanted. However, I said I'm not going to let them ruin my summer. It's been enough going through autumn, spring, and winter. They ain't ruining the summer. Yeah? Fabrizio said, I understand Arsenal have started moving initial concrete talks for Benjamin Sesko deal. He's always been high on the recruitment team and the management. Mikel Arteta's list with attempts to get the deal done, rejected by Leipzig in May 2024 and January. Now Sesko will leave. Arsenal are on it. This is how I think this situation has unfolded, right, with Sesko. I think Arsenal have approached last summer to buy him. He had a release clause, so we could have paid it, and he rejected it, right? He rejected the deal. He said he didn't feel he was ready to come to Arsenal at that time. Fair enough, I don't mind that. You're young, you don't want to rush the big move. So he stays at Leipzig for another year. He thinks it's better for his development. He knows he's going to play every week. Cool, I've got no problem with that. I think there was probably a gentleman's agreement between the clubs. We are going to sign him next summer, which is now this summer. Arsenal got into a situation in January where they were desperate for a striker because Jesus done his ACL. They only had Havertz. Havertz obviously went on to get injured in February on tour, warm winter training in Dubai. Arsenal approached Leipzig in January and obviously said, look, I know we said we were going to buy him in the summer, but can we fast track that deal to now because we desperately need a striker? And our season is on the line at the moment in terms of Premier League and Champions League. Leipzig said no because they were getting knocked out of the Champions League group stage. They were terrible. And their league, they had no chance of winning the title. So they were desperate to get Champions League football. So they said no. Why did Arsenal not go and sign Ollie Watkins for 60 million in January? They would have been looking at it and saying, right, Havertz is going to be at the club. Jesus is going to be injured, so he's going to be at the club when the window closes. And they've already got a deal lined up for Sesko, so they weren't going to buy Ollie Watkins. Which is why they didn't buy a striker, because I believe they would have said to Mikel, Sesko's coming in the summer. We can't pay 60 million for Watkins on top of that. And Arteta is not prepared to get rid of Havertz to bring in 2 strikers. This is what I think, right? We've now come to the end of the season. We need a striker. Berta and him, they're discussing. And he said, look, Sesko, the work's already been done. We're going to go and get him. Somebody just said in the chat, I forget who it was, he said he scored 21 goals. He scored 13 in the league. He scored 21 in all competition, right? So there've been situations where clubs have made offers for players to try and make it look like we did something. We tried to do something to appease the fans. So Arsenal knew it was probably going to come out publicly that they'd been offered Ollie Watkins for 60 million. As soon as that information gets leaked, the fans are going to go crazy. So Arsenal went offer 40. We know they're going to reject it. We'll then back off. We come out of it just about surviving. We were willing to buy him, but we didn't rate him at 60. So a lot of the fans will accept that. The season fizzled out. I said myself in January, by the way, I'm not a big fan of Ollie Watkins. I think he's a solid Premier League striker. He will get you a decent amount of goals. He's nearly 30, 60 million, never scored 20 league goals in the Prem. I think Villa wanted Duran and they would have sold Watkins to us. So I wasn't particularly devastated that we never signed Ollie Watkins, but if we had 40, 50 million in the pot, we should have bought someone else. However, this is the long-term solution in terms of Arsenal's eyes as to who they're going to go for. He always wanted Cesco, and it looks like he's going to get Cesco. Let's talk about the price. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's 93 million. There was a report that Leipzig want 93 million for him. Everything we're reading now is that this isn't the case. Reports now saying that they want 80 million euros for him, which is the equivalent of around 67 million pounds. This was reported here. Arsenal have begun negotiations with RB Leipzig regarding the transfer for Benjamin Sesko. Leipzig are not insisting on his 80 million euro release clause, which is 67 million pounds, and are open to other payment structures. However, that option would then exceed the 80 million euro fee. So there's a release clause at 80 million euros, which is 67 million pounds. Leipzig are saying you don't have to pay the release clause up front. We can give you a nice layaway Klarna buy now, pay later deal, but that will make the transfer fee higher because of the way you're going to repay it, which is probably what Arsenal will do. Because not a lot of clubs want to pay huge amounts of money up front. And obviously with all this PSR and stuff like that, it's very difficult to balance the books. So it's 67 million pounds release clause. So don't start panicking and the clickbait 90 million. We ain't paying 90 million for no Benjamin Sesko. However, it's 67 mil. If we structure the payment so it's easier to repay it, it probably goes beyond 70 million. Maybe you're looking at 75 million pounds. It's a lot of money. Especially when you look at the players that are available. They're saying Osimhen's 65 million. And of course, we know Gyokeres is 65 million. We'll get to that conversation shortly. And I think you guys, if you tuned in last night, you know my thoughts on the striker that I would be going for right now. I genuinely would be taking Gyokeres or Osimhen over Benjamin Sesko. Just because of where we are at as a club right now. But we'll discuss that later on anyway in the show. But yeah, it's going to be around 67 million, probably closer to 75 million with the payment structure and all those kind of things. So yeah, there we are. Let's see what happens with that one. Osimhen wants massive wages. You got to pay massive wages, man. I mean, Havertz on massive wages. What has he really done at Arsenal? You know, so the striker should be the missing piece in the jigsaw. Where I'm at with Cesco is if we had a top quality striker already and we were signing Cesco, I would be happy with that deal. He's 21 years of age. He's 6'5". He's clearly got a lot of potential. My problem is Arsenal, for me, need somebody that's going to get 20 league goals plus next season. And I don't believe Cesco is ready to do that because he's not even doing that in Germany, which is an easier league usually to score a lot of goals. So if he can't do it in Germany, how does he do it in the Prem? If he signs and he holds up the shirt, I'll support him, but I'm not going to sit here and just say, oh, just blindly support whatever happens. That's what people tell you. Oh, just back the club. No, we're allowed to call out the club as well. We're allowed to say something's wrong. We've signed a lot of bad players that we shouldn't have signed. Yeah, you support them on a match day, but you're allowed to call them out and say, I don't think that's the right signing. They told us we need to get in the Champions League to sign world-class players. We need a striker. We've needed a striker for 4 or 5 years. We should be signing the very best striker available on the market. And instead, we're going for a project. Why are we signing a project 5.5 years into the process? Why? Striker's one of the most important positions on a football pitch. And you want to sign a striker that hasn't even proven himself in a league that's not as good as the Premier League. So you're gambling that he's going to come to the Prem and get significantly better, rather than signing someone that is already doing the business. Every striker's a gamble, we know that. But some are less gambles than others. Football Dive said he loves Arteta because he's given us entertainment as a Chelsea fan. Thank you. Do you know what I mean? Maresca comes in, 1 season, trophy, top 4. Now they're becoming a problem. Straight away, they're going to go for big players. Danny said, only Arsenal can buy a striker who scored 13 goals when the manager said they need a 30-goal-a-season striker. Hope it doesn't happen and they get the gunman they need. He actually said in a press conference, I don't have a striker that can score 30 goals. I wish I had one. And you get a guy that scores 13 goals. Maybe it was lost in translation. Maybe somebody said 30 and he thought they said 13. Maybe. Chimney said, hi, Curtis, I'm an up-and-coming YouTuber. Can I get a shout-out? I'm a Dortmund fan, but I love your channel. Big up to you, bro. Good luck with your channel. I always tell people, man, you can promote in this comment section. It's a safe space. Go and support him. Let us know about Jamie Gittins. How good is he? We don't want him, by the way, but if we do, big up to you, man. Make sure you go and support. Ryan says, big up, Curtis. I'm not against Cesco. I'm against Mikel not starting him. If you buy him, play him. Kai to Al, whoever. Yeah, listen, if we end up signing Cesco, I don't want to see Havertz starting up front opening day. It's got to be Cesco then. You got to allow him to settle into the league. Sesko outperforming his XG, Curtis, he'll cook. I have nothing wrong with the positivity. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. If we sign him, I hope he rips the place up. Arsenal fans online saying he's the new Zlatan. I mean, I'm not sure what they've seen. Just tall, and he's a striker. It's the only similarity, but all we can do is hope. And Brio said, Sesko is giving me Højlund vibes. Yeah, like, people rip Højlund, and even I criticise Højlund. I think he's one of the worst strikers I've seen at Man United. But I'll be honest, that first season when they signed him, I thought there was actually potential there. And I think sometimes, because there's so few strikers now, what people are doing is they're signing players before they're ready to take on that responsibility. And that's the problem. Nkunku scored 20 goals with Leipzig, Tesco 13. Again, anybody who tuned into the show last night, we went through the top goal scorers list in the Bundesliga, and he was 9th. He was 9th, people, in the German league this season. There's midfielders that are getting his numbers. I mean, looking at Nkunku's last 2 seasons at Leipzig, he got 20 league goals and then 16 league goals. That's Nkunku. I mean, even Havertz got 17 league goals playing for Leverkusen. And like I said last night, Mamouche left in January and scored more goals than Sesko in Germany, who played the whole season. So, forgive me if I'm not out celebrating the fact that we're signing Sesko. If he signs, I hope he does the business, but there ain't a lot to get excited about. He needs to prove himself. People say be excited when you sign a player. If a player has not given you much of a reason to be excited, they have got to prove to you that you should be excited by them. People want you to force excitement for every signing that walks through the door. They've signed for us, be excited. No, I won't be excited. Because what I'm seeing does not excite me. This guy played in the Champions League. They got knocked out this season, didn't even make the playoffs in the Champions League group. They've had a poor season in the Bundesliga, and he had a poor Euros for Slovenia. So what do you want me to be excited about? Exactly. 13 goals. Havertz was getting 13 goals at Arsenal last season. I want that guy out of this club. So I'm not going to be excited about a guy that gets 13 in the Bundesliga. And do you know what, Chimney, by the way? Big up to you coming back. Obviously, you follow Bundesliga. He says, do not go for Gittins. He is a ball hog. His attitude stinks. Hopefully, we can scam Chelsea out of 60 million euros. What do you think about Cesco? What do you think about him? Spar said, I don't know why I support Arsenal. Became a fan after I saw Henry. We've suffered for way too long. Get Gyokeres now. As I said, man, Henry, he lured us in, you know. Young Gunner said, Arteta don't want pressure, hence the Sesko deal. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Ale said, I suffered 3 years of Darwin. Now it's your turn, Curtis, with Sesko. Ah, dear. Hey, the Knicks beat the Pacers, man, 3-2. Can they get back into it? As I said, we looked at this last night, and I won't go on about it for too long, but these are some of the key metrics of a striker. And Gyokeres is winning comfortably in all of them. Now, I'm sure there'll be stats that you could put up that would favour Sesko, but these ones are very important. They played the same amount of league games, 33. Sesko scored 13. Gyokeres scored 39. 3 times the amount of goals. He scored more goals than games that he played in. Now, I get it. The Bundesliga is a better league than the Portuguese league. However, you're talking about triple the numbers. In terms of assists, if you want to talk about link-up play, Gyokeres has more assists than Benjamin Sesko. Sesko has 5, Gyokeres has 7. Let's talk about shots. Gyokeres averaging 4.5 shots a game, Sesko 2.6. So that means he finds a way of getting more shots off every game. Conversion rate, 28% for Gyokeres. That means over 1 in 4 shots that he has, he scores. Benjamin Sesko, 19%, closer to 1 in 5. Key passes. How many key passes lead into goal-scoring opportunities? Sesko, 0.7 a game, not even 1 a game. Gyokeres, 2 a game. Dribbles, successful, 1.9. Sesko, 1.5. So he scores more, he assists more, he has more shots, his conversion rate's better, his key passes are better, and his dribbling is better. But people are saying, let's get Sesko because he suits our style more. Why does he suit our style more? Why does he suit our style more? Because he's tall and he's young. And they've brainwashed us to think Project Youth. Every signing we get has to be a young player with potential that doesn't put pressure on the manager. That's the problem, people. We need to actually get out of that. Maybe we need to get a little bit uncomfortable at Arsenal. Because the reality is, Pep replaced Aguero with Haaland. Those two players are not similar. They're very different. I never heard Manchester City going, oh, he won't suit our system. No, they won the treble and they adapted to him. Because good players adapt to each other. Good coaches adapt teams to top quality players. This striker position was meant to be one of the missing pieces of the jigsaw to win the title. You're meant to get the ready-made player, the guy that's ready to take us to that next level. Now, Sesko's going to take time, and then you're going to have excuses if he doesn't rip up the league next season. They're going to go, he's 21. He needs time to adapt. Give him another season. He's settled now. So you already know the excuses. And we're tired of the excuses. We've heard the excuses for too long. And I think Arteta might even be a little bit afraid of signing those kind of players, because I think Gyokeres does 2 things to Mikel Arteta. Number 1, it ruins Kai Havertz. Because he's going to turn around and go, listen, bro, I'm the most informed striker in Europe along with Mbappe. I'm only coming here to start every week. That ruins Kai Havertz at Arsenal. You're sitting on the bench. And then he has to hold his hands up and say the highest paid player at the club is on the bench. That creates a problem for Arteta, who's a stubborn manager. On top of that, if he signs Gyokeres, people are going to go, you've got one of the most informed strikers in world football and you still can't win the title. That means you're not good enough as a manager. Does he want that? Cesco gets 12, 13, 14 league goals next season. He can go, That's not bad for his first season. He's only 21. He's adapting to the league. We've rotated him with Havertz. Next season, that 12, 13 goals can go to 20 goals. So you get a year's patience with him. And that's perfect for Arteta. It's perfect for him. But we don't want that. We need accountability now. We've run out of patience. I don't know about anybody else. I'm sick of seeing clubs lift trophies and it ain't Arsenal. So Chimney said, Cesco is not it. Even we didn't want him because he takes too long on the ball and his decision making is too slow. Reminds me of post-injury Jesus. I mean, listen, I said on this channel last January, Arsenal should sign Gyokeres, 17 million. Top goal scorer in Germany. Dortmund sign him, second top goal scorer in the league, and was ripping up the Champions League. 17 million quid. Was a no-brainer. Cheap wages as well. Ryan said, to be clear, I would have preferred Glock. Yeah, Glock 9. Arteta don't want pressure, hence Sesko, says Young Gunner. Mish said, City replaced Alvarez, sold for 85 million with Mamouche. Band for band, gunman for gunman. Oh, and their main striker is a robot. Their second choice, last two strikers, have arguably been better than the guy that we're buying as our number one striker. Like you said, Alvarez, I think, is absolute top quality. Won the World Cup starting for Argentina, ripping it up at Atletico. That was their bench boy. They replace him with Mamouche, who scores one of the best goals this season. Scored more goals than Sesko, even though he was only in that league for half of last season. And that's their bench player. Oh, and by the way, they've got the best goal-scoring machine on the planet in Haaland. I mean, they're the levels, people. They're the levels. Let me just add the final twist in this conversation before we move on. An article's come out this morning. It's from Charlie Wyatt, who is certainly not gospel, that is for sure. In the Sun newspaper, my apologies, I don't like talking about this newspaper for obvious reasons. But he did give a little glimmer of hope. This is what I'm clinging on to here, people. He said, he was talking about Cesco, and he was saying that Leipzig want the deal done by next week because obviously this new transfer window situation that we've got. The window opens on the 1st of June, which is is it tomorrow? No, the day after. On Sunday. For the Club World Cup. It will then close and then reopen again. So basically, all clubs have got this 10-day window to get players in. Clubs want to get business done quickly so that they can go to the Club World Cup or they're ready for the tour and pre-season. It says the situation is complicated because Arsenal are looking at both Cesco and Sporting Lisbon's Victor Gyokeres. They are extremely unlikely to sign both as they also need to strengthen elsewhere. He said Arsenal could even prioritise trying to sign in-demand 70 million rated Gyokeres, meaning Arteta's search for a new striker could turn into a saga, and Cesco might have to wait. Gunners boss Arteta wanted to sign Cesco both last summer and in January. I mean, for me, I would love Arsenal to sell Havertz and buy both of them. That would be incredible. But this manager loves Havertz too much. And if you read the full article, basically what it's saying is Arsenal are in negotiations to get Cesco, but the payment structure and things like that is what is delaying it. It's not clear how much he's going to cost and how the payments will have to be made. Listen, I think if you're Leipzig, you'll be more than happy to get 70 million quid for him, considering Openda has scored more goals than him over the last 2 years. You know, it's probably great business for them. Big up Laser Gaming as well. Big up everyone in the chat. 2.5K locked in already. So we'll see what happens. Stuart said, don't wish injury, but wouldn't mind. Ah, dear. I think it's going to happen that he signs. Sam said, Sesko couldn't get European football for Leipzig, but will win us the league. It's hilarious. Arsenal Football Club is not serious about winning trophies. I mean, I was looking at Leipzig, right, last season. Remember, he's rejected Arsenal last summer because he didn't think he was ready. The people around him were saying, listen, man, you ain't ready for Arsenal. Just wait a year. They got Champions League football 23-24. They finished fourth. They scored 77 goals. So he stays for another year. This is the year that he's meant to go to an even higher level, which convinces us to sign him. They finish 7th, don't qualify for any European competition, and they scored 53 goals instead of 77. And he went from 14 league goals to 13 league goals. So he actually had a worse season than the season when we wanted to sign him, and his club got worse. And they didn't even get through the group stage in the Champions League. I mean, this guy, Arteta, must be obsessed with him. He must be genuinely, absolutely infatuated with him to say, listen, I don't care what any other striker on the planet is doing. That is the one we're buying. He seems so stubborn. I mean, I'm looking at certain stats. You look at Osimhen, 25 goals and 5 assists in 29 games. He also got 6 in Europe and 5 in the Turkish Cup. So he actually got 36 goals and 6 assists in all competition this season. 65 million release clause. They don't want to go for him. Yeah, the wages are big, but you're going to pay big wages for good strikers. And as I said, Gyokeres, I mean, you guys know the stats. We've looked at them. 39 league goals, 6 goals in the Champions League, 4 in the Cup, 49 league goals. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it is what it is. If he signs, we've got no option. We got to hope by some miracle that he can do things in the Prem that he wasn't even doing in the Bundesliga. And as I said, another thing, he was playing in a 2. A lot of the time they play 2 up front, him and Openda. How does he go from 2 up front to 1 up front all of a sudden? That's a difficult adjustment. Liverpool have just announced Frimpong. £29.5 million. Jeez. What a bargain. Why would his release clause be that low? But yeah, 29.5 mil. Liverpool have just announced it officially. The Dutch connection grows, it says. Gravenberch, Van Dijk, Frimpong, Gakpo, and Arne Slot. Vert's offer been made today as well. Liverpool making crazy, crazy moves, people. They're not messing around. Big up Matt. He said, that's why I dubbed him Benjamin Tesco. Big up, bro. Yeah, we're trying to save money. Tap the club card, get a discount. We take the cheaper deal, the less pressurized deal. One thing I've realized about Arsenal is Arsenal don't like accountability. They don't like it. It bothers them. It makes them uncomfortable. You know, like I said on Arsenal Therapy last night, we spoke about Caldoon at Manchester City, just basically saying we made mistakes last summer and last summer wasn't good enough. You would never hear Arsenal speak like that. Arteta never says things like that. Josh Kroenke never says things like that. Because we all know that last summer was what cost Arsenal winning trophies. But they will never come out and say, oh, we had a bad transfer window. Caldoon knows 1 season, no trophy. Nah, that can't happen again. Sam said Sesko's best tally in the league, by the way, is 14 goals. Timo Werner scored 28 for Leipzig, and Kunku scored 20 for them. Both flopped, but Cesco will work because Arteta is a genius. My thing is this. Anybody in the chat that thinks Cesco is going to work, I have no problem with you saying that, right? There might be things in his game that you think are going to work at Arsenal, and you're hopeful that it's going to work. I have no problem with hope. My problem is this. There are people saying things that aren't factual as if it is a fact. I'm seeing people online saying things like, he's going to rip the Premier League apart. He's going to lead us to the title. He's the new Zlatan. No, he's not. If he does, and you hope he does, I hope he does. I hope he is the new Zlatan. But people are saying it with certainty when he hasn't even done it in Germany. And that league is not as good as the Prem. So what are we doing? Havertz has scored more than him in that league in a season. And he wasn't even a striker when he was playing in Germany. There's midfielders who are putting up better numbers than him in the German league. So, you know what I mean? All that new Zlatan talk, it feels like the Slovenian Andy Carroll people. Do you know what I mean? Bruno Fernandes, 100 mil. I think Bruno will leave. Chris, I think Bruno will leave. I think Bruno is at a stage in his career where he probably thinks he should go to a better club, but because he's 30 on big wages, I don't think the big clubs will come in for him. So he either stays at United or he cashes out, and I think he'll cash out. Because United aren't in Europe next season, they're not going to win the Prem. So all United can win next season is a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. They've offered him 700 grand a week when he's on 250, nearly 3 times his wage, tax free. I think they're in the Club World Cup, Al Hilal. I think he's going to leave. And I think from Man United's point of view, £100 million for a 30-year-old, I think it's good business for United as well. Listen, Bruno's Man United's best player, but let's be honest, man. Europa League final, he had an absolute shocker. He's petulant. He loses the ball a lot. For all of his qualities, the goals he scores and the chances he creates, and he is a quality player, I think United need to start again. Get rid of Anthony, get rid of Rashford, get rid of Bruno, get rid of Maguire, sell Casemiro, and rebuild that team from scratch. Because they don't sell him now for 100 mil. You end up selling him for about 20 million in a year or two if the Saudi club don't buy him. OGN said, hope is not a strategy. We'll finish 5th in 25-26. Exactly. I ain't here for hope, bro. Liverpool just won the league. They're going to sign Havertz for 100 mil. That ain't hope. Guna Carlos, at least it will be early in the window. He gets a full preseason to adjust. Would be way worse if they dragged this and signed him in the first week. Listen, let me say something. I don't agree with the Cesco deal. If Cesco is the guy we're getting, get him as soon as possible. Give him all of preseason and start him on the opening day of the season. I do not want to see Havertz up front. I don't give a damn what he's doing in the gym or on the training ground. Give Cesco all the time he needs. I'll support Sesko, you know. I'll say this time and time again. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's got a lot of potential. I just don't think he's ready to lead Arsenal to a title. They couldn't even get Leipzig in Europe. Leipzig didn't even get the Conference League. So why do I think he can lead Arsenal to a title when City have got Mamouche and Haaland and Liverpool are signing Wirtz and they've got Salah and Van Dijk and man. Stephen Ireland's grandmother. I've seen the cult saying Darwin Núñez, 48 in 85, has scored more than Gyokeres, 97 in 102. Again, another copium. Oh, Darwin was ripping up Portugal and he didn't do it in the Prem. Doesn't mean anything, does it? There's players who've been in leagues that have struggled. You know, we just spoke about the German league. Timo Werner bagged goals there, came to the Prem, stunk out the place. Aubameyang scored goals there, came here, did the business. Haaland has done the business. Son has done the business. Gundogan's been a baller. So there's always situations where you can say a player came from that league and it didn't work. How can anyone want Tesco over Gyokeres? It's insane. A lot of fans will... I have no problem with any fans saying that they want Sesko. I just like to hear your logic behind it. Now, some people say because of his age. The age doesn't bother me. Because when Ferguson signed Van Persie from Arsenal, to Man United, he didn't sit there and go, boy, but Van Persie's 28, you know, what about the resale value? He went, Ronaldo's left. The goals have been struggling to get up to that same level. They needed a goal scorer. They got Van Persie, they won the league. They didn't care about resale value. They didn't go, let's buy a 21-year-old who's got 7 years at the club and resale value. Arsenal need to win a trophy now, this season. The manager will get sacked trying to develop Sesko. If he'd signed Sesko 2 years ago, I'd go, okay, I get that. But not now, bro. You're at the end of your apprenticeship. Now you're starting work on Monday. You're starting work, you're getting paid. Put your timesheets in. Fill out your tax forms. Sesko, bro, come on, man. Look at the best players right now. Look at the current Ballon d'Or winner is Rodri, right? And Rodri is 28. He turns 29 next month, right? Lewandowski has just won a domestic treble at Barcelona. He scored 27 league goals. He's 36. He turns 37 in August. Yeah. Benzi won the Ballon d'Or at 34 years of age. He's currently 37. It might have even been 35, actually. 2 years ago, 2020. Yeah, he would have been just turning 35. We've got to get out of this whole thing in football that, oh, you're 27, but yeah, in 4 years' time, he's going to. Who cares? Who gives a damn? What can they do for the next couple of years? This guy, Gyokeres, is 26. He's nearly 27. He can come to the Prem for 4 years and rip it up. Van Dijk's 34. He's the best centre-back in world football. Better than anybody at centre-back. And he signed a new deal. Salah's just won PFA Player of the Year and just signed a new deal on crazy amounts of money. Liverpool sitting there going, oh, but the resale value. He's 33 next month. He scored 29 goals, 18 assists. The Prem is not an amazing league defensively, people. It's not an unbelievable league. Chris Wood's just scored 20 goals in the Prem. Do we think the Prem is a monster league? The defenders are not that great. Chris Wood, 20 league goals. Wissa's got 18 league goals. What are we doing? You're a good striker. These men will bag goals in the Prem. Wissa got 19 league goals and Buemo got 20. Chris Wood got 20. Our top goal scorer's got 9 goals in the Premier League. 9 goals. Come on, man. These men will rip the league apart, These Gyokeres and these man. SG, next season is already over. Imagine having Ellen DeGeneres love child and James Charles as our striker. And the war criminal Arteta as our manager. I just hope we're surprised for once. We need to be surprised positively. Why me said Sesko is average, but honestly, Gyokeres looks like a mid player as well. I watched his goal catalogue. It's horrendous. But I've heard of his goals are penalties, and the goalkeepers in the Portuguese league are terrible. Listen, I watched his highlights back as well. They don't all look good. But he got over 50 goals and 19 penalties. So even if you take his penalties off, it's about 31 goals. No problem at the end of the day. And what I like about him, he's just a gunman. He just smashes the ball in the corner. Hat-trick against City. Looks sharp against Arsenal with no service. Joint top goal scorer in the group stage of the Champions League with Gyokeres. Scoring goals for Sweden. T. said, Big C, do you think the manager cares that he has not won anything? Will another season like this be the end for him? I think he does care, but I think he's very good at covering it up. I also think, honestly, a lot of people are putting it out there. Listen, mate, if he don't win a trophy this season, he's gone. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. He's too relaxed. He's too sure of himself. I think as long as we're in the top 4 and not too far off the top of the league, have a couple of good cup runs, I think he'll get another year. I don't think that would get him the sack. I think he could cover that up. Yeah, but it's Cesco's first season and Havertz has just come back from a hamstring tear. And I'm telling you, I think he could cover it up. That guy is so comfy. Milan 90 said, saying Gyokeres might be bad in the Premier League. You could have said the same thing about Luis Diaz. Look how he turned out. I'm a Chelsea fan. I think Arteta should go for Gyokeres, not Sesko. Every single day of the week, bro. The guy is a prolific goal scorer. And he's doing it at all levels. Arteta always goes against the fans. He doesn't always sign the fans' favourites. Still, some fans are respecting him, says Mohammed. Always seems to be the ones we don't want. TNM, Big C, if Cisco doesn't work, where do we go from there? Will this be on Arteta or Berta? There is a ready-to-go killer, and we want Cisco. I don't get it. I think it's got to be on Arteta. That deal was lined up already, man. That deal was... I don't think Berta had a huge say in that deal. They probably already said the paperwork's in the bag, mate. You can't influence it. There's actually a report today, now changing, saying that although Berta was in favour of Gyokeres, he's happy to get on board with the signing of Cesco. So it looks like this guy, Arteta's already working his magic on him. Matt Southern Gooner, make sure you go and follow his channel as well, by the way. He said, let's keep it 100. Should have signed Cesco instead of Havertz. Could have developed over time. That deal will cost him his career at the club. From day one, I've said it, and a lot of other people have said it as well. Shout out to Matty. The Havertz deal will end Arteta's career at this football club because there's no escape plan for Arsenal. Liverpool signed Darwin Núñez, 65, 70 million quid. 2 years... not good enough. He'll be on his bike this summer. He'll be on his bike. They're not going to sit there and carry on capping and saying, Oh, but his work rate, he's just unlucky. It's game over for him now, right? Game, set, and match. Roger Federer. 6-1, 6-love, 6-2. They're not going to hang on to him because he's so passionate and he connects with the fans. They're going, on your bike, mate. Find yourself a club, and they will go for another striker. We will keep Havertz here for the duration of his contract. I wouldn't even surprise me if Havertz got a new deal at Arsenal. He's 2 years into a 5-year deal. They'll probably extend it next summer when he's got 2 years left. They'll go, yeah, give him a contract extension. We're not ruthless enough. You sign a player, it don't work, get him out, 2 years, bin him. Not good enough, sell him while he's got some value. But not Arsenal, unfortunately. We'll sit around and carry on. Right. Is this part of the reason why we want Benjamin Sesko? Are we the Premier League Stoke City people? To sign for Arsenal, you got to be tall. Ben White, 6'1". Partey Calafiori, also 6'1". Kivior, Marino, Declan Rice, Gabriel, all 6'2". Saliba, Kai Havertz, 6'5". But wait for it. There's one even taller. The giraffe people, the tallest in the jungle. We've got the giraffe people. We've completed the set. Benjamin Sesko, a.k.a. Cisco Drew Hill, a.k.a. Tesco. Every little counts. Every little helps. 6'5". When Thomas Partey's launching in long throw-ins. Nicolas Jova standing up. Imagine when we get a corner, they'll be celebrating like it's a party at the Emirates. Look how tall we are. We are the Premier League's own Stoke City Football Club. We do not have the Spanish Brendan Rodgers. We have the Spanish Tony Pulis, people. Damn. We're going to be launching throw-ins from everywhere. Nicolas Jova, he'll be standing up all season, the amount of set pieces we'll be whipping in. 6'5" and 6'4". So let's say we pay the 67 million, which is apparently the release clause. Havertz cost 65 million. That is a grand total of 132 million pounds. Imagine spending 132 million pounds and your two strikers are Sesko and Havertz. Add to that the 45 million we spent on Gabriel Jesus, whose knees are hanging off. I mean, make it work. Brother, when I seen this picture, I said, what's this? Indiana Pacers against the Knicks? I thought it was Jalen Brunson and Cat and Halliburton and them, man. What the hell? What is this? We an NBA team. We might as well enter the NBA with this. Jeez, what are we doing out here? Islington Cannons, you know what I'm saying, John? We're a basketball team. I know I like NBA, but damn, we might as well sign LeBron James, put him up front. Sign Giannis. This is crazy work, man. Anyway, people. It's crazy because Havertz 6'4", you'd think they'd want a striker who's quite different to him, to have a different profile. Man City got Haaland, so they buy Mamouche, very different player. We're signing another tall guy. I don't know. But listen, mentally, I've accepted it. We're going to get Sesko. So I'm already in a place of acceptance. And then what's going to make it worse? You're going to see Gyokeres, here we go, to Chelsea or to Liverpool or to Man United. That's what's going to happen. And that makes me feel sick. I just hope by some sort of miracle, this guy Sesko bangs at Arsenal, scores goals. Maybe we're just putting crosses on his head every game and he's just heading them in. Honestly, that's all I'm hoping. I hope this giraffe scores a whole heap of goals for Arsenal. Like I said, sell Havertz. You can sign Sesko and grab Gyokeres. I'm celebrating the Sesko signing if that happens. I think for 21 years of age, that's a very good potential player. But you don't want him leading the line every week trying to get you over the finish line and winning the title when they've got Haaland and Salah and players like that. You want him to be learning and developing and not too much pressure on him. But the problem we've got, if he has a bad run of form at Arsenal, we have to take him out the firing line. We're going back to Havertz. And no one wants to see that. I think Marino was better up front than Havertz. So, Yeah, man, it's a tough one to take, but I suppose whatever Arteta wants, and I hope he gets it, and then there's no excuses. Zuba Nico Williams, Benjamin Sesko, give him all of them. I give up. We can't fight the fight anymore, people. Oh, Rodrigo and Gyokeres, no problem. Nico Williams and Sesko. Whatever we want, they're going to do the opposite. So what's the point? What is the point in stressing myself about it? The most informed striker in Europe is available for 65 million, and we've said no. We've said no. Let's go and get a guy that hasn't even scored 15 league goals in a season in Germany, just because he's 21 and we can continue with Project Youth. So I hope this giraffe does the business at Arsenal somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. We got to make it up out the hood someday. Jay-Z, big tune back in the day. If you know, you know. Anyway, Big C, all the transfer people are saying Victor Gyokeres is the top target. Well, they've changed the language a little bit. Now they're saying he's still a target. I'm not really seeing people saying he's still the top target. People are saying he is still a target, but clearly they're there to negotiate Cesco. Do you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping what Arsenal are doing is they're saying, this is my thought process to try and cope. I'm hoping that they know the price for Gyokeres. So they've said, right, the Gyokeres deal is there to be done. All you've got to do is press enter on the laptop. Gyokeres is signed. So what we'll now do is negotiate with Leipzig, see what the price looks like on Cesco. Then when we've got both deals in a position where we can get them done, we figure out which one of them we want. That's what I'm hoping. There's a whole heap of copium attached to that. But that's what I'm hoping, right? It's probably not. They're probably saying, we'll go and get Cesco. If we can't get Cesco, we'll turn back and get Victor Gyokeres. But I'm hoping, because sometimes you want to be in a situation where you can get both players and then you decide which one you want more. It probably isn't that. And where will Gyokeres end up going? Because they're now saying Chelsea, even though they've got Delap, they want another striker. And them with Champions League football and Todd Bowley's billions is dangerous. People were calling, let's just be real, and I'm a realist, and I get criticised sometimes by my own fan base. They go, oh, you don't defend the club enough. I won't defend the indefensible. I'm a realist. People call Chelsea $1 billion bottle jobs, right? Todd Bowley. He's won a trophy and got top 4 in a year of Maresca. When people said, yo, he's mad for sacking Poch, he's building something. He sacked Poch and got top 4 and a trophy, got him back in the Champions League. You know what Chelsea are like with Champions League football in the transfer market. They're a big problem. We felt that effect before. Caicedo to Arsenal. No, actually he's not. Oh, Mudryk coming to Arsenal. No, he's not. When Chelsea have got dough, they're a problem in the Champions League. And I want to let everyone know, if we drop 250 million this summer, what are we then? Because that'll be $1 billion. So is it Kroenke's $1 billion bottle jobs? Because that'll be $1 billion and 1 FA Cup. I'm just putting it out there, people. You can't point fingers with dirty hands, people. $1 billion bottle jobs, they're lifting silverware, qualifying for Champions League in 1 year. You know? So we got to fix up. Conte won the league in 1 season, bro. McTominay centre mid, scoring bicycle kicks. No Kvaratskhelia, no Victor Osimhen, Lukaku and McTominay and Billy Gilmore and Philip Billing winning the title against Champions League finalists Inter Milan. That's what you call doing the business. No phasers, no process, no dogs. Just winning. Good management, good coaching, getting the best out of a player. Most people in this chat wouldn't go anywhere near Romelu Lukaku if Lukaku was linked to a club. You'd say, I don't want nothing to do with that guy. The guy's a beast. He always is for Conte, especially in Italy. Most Man United fans would call him McTominay, McChicken Sandwich, all that kind of madness. Man's winning the title first year. Lewandowski, 36, nearly 37. 27 league goals this season. Good management. Rafinha moves him to the left, has the best season of his career. Good management. Liverpool desperate for a number 6. Didn't get Caicedo. Didn't buy anybody else. I moved Gravenberch to the 6. One of the players of the season. Good management. What about Arsenal? We need to see better management. Before we even start thinking about who we're going to sign, I want to know what's going on with Gabriel Martinelli on the left. I want to know how 2 years ago this guy was one of the best left wingers in the league. Now he looks like a headless chicken that can't play football. I want to know how Trossard was one of the most clutch players every time he came on the pitch for Arsenal. Now he looks like he hasn't slept for a month and he's had 10 pints of Stella. What's happened to him? Saka, you've made him tear his hamstring. Odegaard looks like he gave birth to the kid. Do you know what I mean? Man had a child and hasn't been able to play well since. He looks like he needs to go on maternity leave. I thought his wife gave birth. He looks like he gave birth the way he's playing. Man looks drawn out, lost weight, snot out of his nose every minute, hair flicks, can't shoot. 3 goals a season. What's happened to him? So what's happened to these players? I don't want to know about the new signings. I want to know where Martinelli is. Where's Odegaard? I don't recognise some of these players. It's crazy. Your first job in management is improve the players in the building. Then start thinking about who you can bring in the building. So, you know what I'm saying? I need to know what's going off here. I'm telling you, Odegaard's lactating on the pitch. He's got milk coming out of his nipples' pores. It ain't right. I don't know what's going on. I thought she gave birth. Nah, man, he's a mess. What happened to Osimhen, Turkish champ? The Osimhen one's strange, innit? You look at Osimhen and you think, why has nobody bought him? Is he asking for crazy money? Because he's a bagsman. Somebody should buy him. Mish said Arsenal in phase 5 play basketball, yeah? Just get land of the Giants, Harlem Globetrotters. Brio said, when will any of our players win player of the season? Signings like Cesco, Havertz, Jesus can't compete with actual ballers. Yeah, you notice them guys get nowhere near team of the seasons. You just about get Saka in there if he stays fit for the whole season. In terms of attacking players, we get defenders in there all day long. Milan 90, do you think Arteta is copying Guardiola's tactics in a sense? He sees his own version of Haaland in Sesko, hold up play-wise, get Wembanyama. Yeah, he does everything Pep does. Inverted left back, so he inverts his left back. Goalkeeper runs out and sprays passes. Now Raya's trying to do it. You know, he wants Zubimendi to be Rodri. And that's all he's doing. Haaland 6'4", so he gets someone 6'5". Gunnarola said, Berta's role is misunderstood, not here to fight Arteta, but to get deals done and provide viable alternatives. Unlike Edu, no more missing out on target. I totally agree with that. People thought Berta was here to dislodge Arteta and put pressure on him. I think what Arteta's probably doing is, Arteta's probably saying to the board, listen, certain times I'm giving Edu targets and he's not getting them, or there's no alternative option. Where Berta's probably saying, listen, I've negotiated 3 strikers. They're all available. Now pick the one you want. It's going, oh, this is lovely. You're giving me options. And they're probably saying, listen, when you've got to sell players, get better amounts of money for them and get contracts done. Guna Carlos said, the way a Rodrigo, here we go, would cure everything. A lot of people were saying last night, listen, if it is Sesko, the left winger's got to be elite. Not no Gittins or nothing like that. It's got to be like Leao or Rodrigo. Somebody that could be a game changer. That's what we're clinging to. Jerome says, big up Big C in the community. We are watching malpractice year in, year out. Just got to throw our hands up. Just enjoy your summer, people, man. Don't let them ruin it. A. Cesco signing just shows Arteta hasn't learnt from his mistakes. The signing itself shows the club is still not structured to win trophies. Berta or not, no Premier League or Champions League anytime soon, guaranteed. Junior, Curtis, why do all the people who analyse the game say Cesco is far better than Gyokeres? Is this Isak part 2? Maybe, but until we see it, the evidence ain't there. The evidence ain't there. Gyokeres is the beast of a gunman. But we'll see. Let's see where they end up at. Gunnar Paul said, Berta needs to talk Sesko not to join us. Weather's rubbish. Team food poor. Win the dog has fleas. Team bus toilet always blocked. Love the show. Convince him not to sign. Just kidnap him at the airport. Be a real Italian mafia boss for us. T. Dot, the manager is running out of excuses. Can you imagine Spurs win the Super Cup? It just wouldn't surprise me. It's been that year, hasn't it? It's been that year. Seeing them win a European trophy while we're out here going, yeah, but we beat Real Madrid. I mean, crazy. Brian said, why are Arsenal fans so patient? Our trophy cabinet is looking dusty. How long are we the third biggest club in England moving like this? We'll get taken over, bro. We can get taken over. That's what people need to understand. Like, we're not just automatically going to always be the third biggest club. Clubs are going to win more than us and say, now what? Fan base is catching up. Trophy cabinet's got more trophies in it. Bigger modern history. We're the History Channel FC people. I'm sitting here with Thierry Henry on the green screen. Why aren't I sitting here with a modern day player on the green screen? We don't win nothing. So that's the reality of the situation, man. Tough reality as well. Before we do finish off and we round up, I am back on, by the way, at 7 o'clock on AFTV tonight. So make sure you tune in for that. Marquinhos has left. Remember him? Don't cry for me. Marquinhos. He's on his way. He'll sign for Cruzeiro for 3 million euros, people. And that deal has been completed. So at least we've made some money. 3 million euros. I think it's about 2 million quid. We got 8 million for Nuno Tavares. So we've made about 10 million quid so far for Marquinhos and Tavares. But a lot of players we need to sign, man. And sell, sorry. In terms of Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko. There's loads of players. Berta's going to have to work overtime this summer, I tell you. He will be working all summer. No days off. The amount of contracts, player sales, and player signings we've got to make. This guy ain't going to get a day off all summer. So Marquinhos has left. And somebody who is staying, a Brazilian that we do want to stay, is Gabriel Magalhães. His new contract with Arsenal will be a 3-year extension, which will make it a 5-year contract, keeping him at the club until June 2030. Great business, great player. I say only, I mean in the context of Arsenal. He's on £100,000 a week. The same as Reece Nelson. Mate, that makes sense, bro. The guy's one of the best players at Arsenal. Havertz on 275, and this guy's been one of our best players. Apparently his new deal is going to be around £180,000 a week. 5-year extension. That will obviously put to bed any doubts of him potentially going to the Saudi League, who've been linked with him quite a lot. So Gabriel will stay for longer, which is great. Gibbs said, Big C, I don't need YouTube notifications anymore. My sister has a crush on you. She always texts me. Big Daddy C is live. Tune in. Well, you know, one thing I've noticed in the YouTube space, people, is, and especially on Twitter, you don't always, they don't always compliment you. So if there's a compliment, you know what I mean? Then why not? Big up Gibbs and the family. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's Friday, you know, it's the end of the week. But yeah, we keep it moving, you know, big up. Anyway, people, I'm going to get out of here now. I'm going to get out of here before you lot turn this into something else. Anyway, big up. I'm back at 7 on AFTV with Laurie and Jordan Jarrett. Comrade said, wanted to give a little something to say thank you for the priceless entertainment, information, and LOLs for this season. Here's to many more. Big up, Comrade, and big up all of the community for tuning in today. Apologies that the times have been a bit sporadic this week. Like I said, it's half term. My schedule's all over the place. Champions League final watch along tomorrow night. That should be Arsenal playing in that game tomorrow, but we didn't do business properly. So we're stuck watching it from a neutral point of view rather than actually being involved in the game. Could have been the biggest game. You know what's sad? It's Jamaica v Nigeria tomorrow. The time of the game is going to clash with the Champions League final. So unfortunately, I won't be able to go and watch that game. Could do a watch along for that, possibly. Who's live now? Anyone live, people? Do we redirect? Let me know, community. Pacers in 6 tomorrow. Relax, man. Knicks 3-all. Knicks in 7. Beat them in Indiana. Take them back to New York, then win and get to the final. And then they'll probably lose to OKC anyway. SGA is moving mad. So, you're watching the Jamaica game, Dre. Anyone live? Or are we going? No redirects? Anyone live, people? Let me know. If no one's live. Yeah, Troops raided earlier, apparently. Big up, Troops, man. I never even saw it. Saeed is live. We'll go to Saeed. We'll go to Saeed. Why not? Saeed TV. Where's he at? Why is it not showing up? Bruno Fernandes, bomber. Right, there we go. People, big up to you. I'll be back on AFTV at 7 o'clock. Champions League final watch along tomorrow. Make sure you go back and watch Arsenal Therapy from yesterday if you didn't watch that. Big up, take care. See you all soon, people. Enjoy your Friday. Bless.